Good evening, morning, afternoon to you guys from wherever you're joining us live. At this moment, it is past midnight here in Dubai. I've just come from the ground where I didn't meet too many Indian fans. After the Pakistan game, I still met a lot of fans. Firstly, not a lot of them turned up for India Sri Lanka. It wasn't a full house, though it was a very important game. And then whoever they were, by the time I finished my TV show, they had all left, and few were left. They were all very disappointed. Then I attended the Rohit Sharma press conference. So this video is all about that. What did Rohit Sharma say? What are his thoughts? What are my thoughts? Saw the game in the stadium. I'll take your questions as well. We'll go live for the next 20-25 minutes, and I'll try and take some of your questions too. But let's first address the game, what all happened. And let me give you breaking news first, if you haven't realized. And that breaking news is, I know everyone is going to say that India can still make it to the final and not. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but I think India not making it to the final of this Asia Cup, the chances are minuscule. It'll be no less than a miracle, because not only do you have to win your game, you'll have to beat a tough team in Afghanistan, you also have to hope for two other results. One of them is tomorrow, or technically today, Pakistan, Afghanistan. You'd have to hope Afghanistan beats Pakistan, then you beat Afghanistan, and then Sri Lanka beats Pakistan, in which case Sri Lanka has 3 wins, they qualify. India, Pakistan, Afghanistan all tied on 1 win each, and then run rate comes into play. But that is not going to happen. So as I said, the chances of that happening is as good as an Indian bowler bowling a maiden in a T20 match. How often does that happen? Rarely. It's a miracle. So that's how much chance India has. I'm seeing a few comments. Some of you have said that we don't want only Indian team in the final because of the way they played, and I think that's a valid point to make. They haven't been in their best of form, and you know what the worrying thing has been? It's they've repeated the mistakes. I'll get to the mistakes a bit later, but yeah, I was telling you breaking news. I'll give you the breaking news is there could be no India-Pakistan game. India can reach a final, there's still a minuscule chance, still a miracle. I still say miracle, it's not going to happen, so don't raise your hope, it's not going to happen. But India-Pakistan, there is 0% chance. Why? Because it will be either your miracle comes true, in which case it will be Sri Lanka-India final, if that miracle happens, or the miracle doesn't happen, then it's plain and simple a Pakistan-Sri Lanka final. So India-Pakistan though is not happening, that is confirmed. No chance, 0%. India reaching the final, I don't know, 0.1% or 1% or whatever you'd like, but it will be no less than a miracle. Yeah, now just getting back to the Indian team performance and why it's disappointing. I say it's simply because you've repeated the same mistakes. What was your biggest problem in the Pakistan game? You got good enough runs on board. What was your biggest problem? You didn't have a 6th bowling option. Your bowlers went for a few runs and you didn't know what to do. You again select the same team, you still go with 5 bowling options. I can't understand why. If you are not going to bowl Deepak Hooda, then might as well play a Dinesh Karthik who's suited for that role. Now it's unfair on Deepak Hooda also, by the way. Why? Because till now Deepak Hooda, you are making him open, you're making him bat at 3, you're making him bat at 4, he's batting in the top order. That's what you've been doing. Suddenly now you give him the role of a number 7 batsman. I mean, that's not a role that he is accustomed to be doing. Or if you wanted him to do that, then he should have been doing this, reaching this far, but he wasn't doing it. So the problem then lies with the team management. Then might as well, if you're not going to bowl Deepak Hooda, play a Dinesh Karthik. Rohit Sharma was asked about 6 bowling option. He said he would have bowled Deepak Hooda, but there were no wickets falling, and so he didn't bowl Deepak Hooda. But I would think to the contrary, exactly the opposite. If there was, early wickets had fallen, then you didn't need to bowl Deepak Hooda, because then you would have had the pressure on the batting team, and then you would have said, okay, if my 5 bowlers are doing my job, why do I need a Deepak Hooda? You wouldn't have gone to a Deepak Hooda. If you didn't get wickets and there was a partnership happening. That's when you'll experiment with the 6 bowler. Na? That's when you'll go to a out of the box option. That is the one that will give you. So I would think it's exactly the opposite. I would go to a 6 bowler if I'm not. You didn't go to a 6 bowler even when Pakistan had a partnership. Nawaz and Rizwan had a partnership. You didn't go to your 6 bowler. Today, the openers, Sri Lankan openers had a 97 run partnership. That's when you needed to go to your 6 bowler. You did not. The left-handers came in the Sri Lankan team. You just still didn't go to your 6 bowler. So you effectively played with 5 bowlers. That was a problem then, and you suffered because of that in the game against Pakistan. I'm surprised you went with the same combination. Akshar Patel should have been there. He would have been your 6th bowling option. And you needed to bring in DK for Pant. I'd said all of this in the video before the game when I did live with you, and I thought the Indian team would do that. Seemed like a better combination. They did not, so they paid the price. They paid the price because you're playing wrong. I know all of this it sounds very good that we want everyone to be used to batting at different positions. That doesn't happen. Each team, I keep giving the example, Australian team is the world champion. They kept playing their guys at the regular position that they play. David Warner will open, Finch will open. Everyone has a role. Wade had a role to finish off in the end. Maxwell had the role to go blasting in the middle order. They all played to the role. They were all fixed. Gujarat Titans are the IPL champion, had fixed roles. They knew all of those players what they had to do, and they performed that role. And that's why I say, you heard it from Sunny Gavaskar, that video is also up, and I think he makes a very valid point. Pragyan was also saying that the Indian team was not in sync. It's clearly visible, and that's a valid point. Why is it not in sync? It's not in sync because this team has not been playing together. You have been giving someone rest, you have been doing workload management. What happens? There's no harm in doing that, but what happens with that? Why I say team is not in sync? Because when your full team is not available, then different players are batting out of position. Deepak Hooda was batting in the top order. Why? Because your top order, some guy was missing, so you fitted him there. Now your top order has come, you're fitting him in there at a different position. He's not suited for that. Dinesh Karthik is better. He should have been batting there. That's why I say a full team plays, you understand each other's strength, then you understand what person has what role in bowling. You know, when your top bowlers will be playing together, a Jasprit Bumrah and a Harshal Patel, they'll be bowling in the death. You may not require Bhuvaneshwar Kumar to bowl in the death, but he has to because they are not there. They're of course injured, but I'm saying this, if you're not going to be having your team available, this time they may be injured, sometime they are rested, your team is not playing together. And so you won't know which bowler to go to at which situation. The bowler would know which situation he is expected to perform, and he won't get to practice in those situations because he is bowling in different situation in a different series, different situation in a different series, because the composition is changing. This is now you are realizing and you are paying a price for not playing a regular team. The silver lining and the good thing here is, the silver lining is that luckily there is still about 6-8 weeks to go for the T20 World Cup. From here on, please continue playing your full-fledged team. Play them in the series going forward, so you know then that is the right team. So when you reach the Australian show for the T20 World Cup, at least each person knows their role. Now, should you be worried ahead of the T20 World Cup? You ask me as an Indian fan. I am worried. I am worried at this performance because you came to the Asia Cup. You were, forget about the final, you were talking about winning it because you said, oh, Sri Lanka is weak, they are the same. Afghanistan are not a tournament winning side. Bangladesh have become weak. So it's India and Pakistan, we are going to play the final, we are going to win. But now you are in a stage where you will not reach the final. So, you know, and if you've in an Asia Cup, which is a continental tournament where not the best teams are playing, does it give you confidence for the World Cup? It does not give me any confidence. Rohit Sharma was asked about it. Rohit Sharma says that, listen, are you worried? He was asked, he said, why should I be worried? 2 losses. Our team doesn't think like that. We don't get worried because of 2 losses. I mean, you can look at it either ways. Maybe it's a good way of looking at it. Maybe that tells you that this team is full of confidence. They don't let losses, get to them, which is great. But the other thing is that I would want them to be worried because then you can improve. And now is the time. Play your full team. Get the team combination right, because I think this team has a lot of talent. I mean, man on man, on paper, many people will tell you, one of the best T20 sides in the world. But you're making elementary mistakes, and that's why you're not playing. I will give one benefit of the doubt to the Indian team, and that's not making excuses. That is that here, toss does play a very important role. Both games India has lost is because they've batted first. I mean, there's no excuse, but I'm just telling you that it does. Look at all the matches that have happened in this tournament. Every team that has chased has won, barring those 2 games which were against Hong Kong. So not even contest, so you won. But wherever it's been a close contest, if you're chasing, massive advantage. And India, unfortunately, had to bat first both times. To counter that, Rohit said, and this is very interesting, he said to counter that they had a team meeting and they decided you have to get 10, 15, 20 runs more than the par score. Only then you can give yourself a chance of winning while batting first, which is a fair point. They discussed that, but did they get to that total? No. Who's to be blamed? The middle order once again is not firing. Didn't fire. Same things have happened. What happened against Pakistan? If a Hardik doesn't fire, Rishabh Pant doesn't fire, Huda doesn't fire, Sky doesn't fire, this is what happens. So, as I said, if you had changed your middle order, Dinesh Karthik was there instead of a Huda, instead of a Pant, Akshar Patel was there instead of Huda, your bowling would have looked stronger, which is a weaker suite, and your batting would have looked more balanced with players batting in the right position that they're supposed to. You didn't do that, so there it is. Good thing Rohit spoke about Ashdeep Singh, by the way, saying that, yeah, and that's heartening to hear. He said that, listen, that man is made of a lot of steel. He doesn't look at social media. All the trolling all doesn't bother him. Despite dropping that catch, he's full of confidence. Asked for the ball to bowl that final over. Even today bowled a very good final over. Didn't have a great game, but bowled a very good final over. So that guy has a mettle. But you know, the if you look at the larger picture, and I'm liking the looks of Ashdeep. I think he's the one for the future. But then suddenly just some time back we were saying, oh, look at our cupboard, and we have so many fast bowlers, and so many people to choose from, and this and that. But suddenly that cupboard is looking empty because Ashdeep, as talented he must be, can he be in your top bowlers to win you a World Cup? Can he be in a team or the top 3 bowlers to win you a World Cup? No. And again, a big blunder the Indian team made is with Deepak Chahar, by the way. They did not have Deepak Chahar available because they did not induct him in the 15. They kept Avesh. Avesh was not available for 2 games because of fever. They did not bring in a Deepak Chahar. That's a mistake they made. They should have bought him in the 15. He should have. And Rohit Sharma says in the press conference he wasn't available for selection, and we couldn't go to Deepak Chahar because he was not in the 15. Then you should have got him in the 15. You should have made that change, just as the change was made for Jadeja and Akshar was bought in. You should have made this change. But this change didn't happen. And if fair point where Rohit says that he wanted to experiment with this combination of 3 spinners, fair enough. But then the 3rd spinner was not even bowling. We were only playing 2 spinners. So 5 bowlers, what you were going with. Might as well have had a fast bowler come in. And that fast bowler could well have been Deepak Chahar. I think he is still a guy that you could look at for picking up wicket. I kept saying even earlier when Mohammed Shami was not picked, you have to look at him. I don't know where the selectors are looking. Team is to be announced. Mohammed Shami question was also asked to Rohit Sharma. He said, you will get all your answers in a very casual way. It was good to see him in a very casual mood. That tells you that he takes losses in his stride, which is great for a captain. But he said wait for 16th, 17th September, whenever the team is announced, you'll get to know. But again, I tell you, if you have a bowler, you're not picking up early wickets. That's been one problem area. And look at Shami. Look at the last 3-4 IPLs. Highest number of wickets in the power play. Top 5 wicket takers for continuously last few seasons. If you have a bowler, ready-made bowler like that, you'll have to. Between Ashdeep and Shami, who would you go for? I'd go for Shami any day with the experience that he brings, with the ability that he has. But maybe. By the way, the other problem, Indian team's problem with left-arm seamers, it's getting serious. Any team brings a left-arm fast bowler, the problem is happening. You need to find a solution, boss. You can't say, oh, it's one off, one player, one game. No, it's happening very regularly. It's happening again and again. Today again, Madhu Shankar. Name a left-arm fast bowler, he'll come and he'll do well. Reece Topley, anyone. Forget about Trent Bolt or Shaheen Shah Afridi. Anyone is doing well. This is something the Indian team needs to look at. KL Rahul's form, another cause for worry. But I don't think the Indian team is going to discard him so soon. I think he will be persisted with. He's your vice captain. His form is a worry, but there are a few tournaments before the T20 World Cup. They'd just be hoping that he strikes form. So that's a cause for worry. UZCL picked up wickets today, but overall, you know, not been his best tournament. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, not been his best tournament. So your big players have struggled on occasion. But if any of you are thinking that, oh, now major changes is going to happen, oh, you know, we need to think of playing T20 in a different way, where you let go of some, even if they are senior players, let go. All of that is not happening, because Rohit Sharma has made it clear this is the squad. 95% of this squad will only go to the T20 World Cup. I think the remaining 5% is pretty easy. I think he's talking about Jasprit Bumrah and Harshal Patel. They'll come in, but 95% of the squad, he says, will be this. So that's that. Angel Jolly says, hope history repeats at the T20 World Cup, like inexperienced team went to win the Champions Trophy. इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट बाय रिकी पटेल. सबका साथ सबका विकास के चक्कर में एशिया कप गया, वर्ल्ड कप भी जाएगा. दैट्स ट्रू, दैट इज ट्रू. वैलिड पॉइंट रिकी पटेल. Sekat Chatterjee saying Akshar gives more options than Huda, because when two right-hander had a good going, then Akshar comes good, and if lefty come, then Ashwin. I agree. Akshar would have been far more better option to go with than the team went with. I was a bit surprised, but again, they made the same mistake as Pakistan, same mistake again. Baffling. Sridhar Savekar says, what combination do you see India playing now going forward? Is Akshar swap for Jaddu, Boom, Harshal come in? Are you looking at Shami, Cheher? What are the worries after the result? Yeah, I am. I'm going to look at a Shami. I am going to look at a Bumrah, Harshal, these guys. 5 bowlers that I'm going to go with. We'll have these guys. You'll have to. Amit Chaudhary, I've already answered the Mohammed Shami question. So that's that, guys. I'm going to take your leave. It's been a very long day for me. Tomorrow I'll come back with some fresh updates. There's another game India has to play, which is a formality, versus Afghanistan. But we'll of course keep a close eye on Indian team's performances. So I'll see you tomorrow. I'll try answer more of your questions tomorrow. Today I've had a very long night. Abe, good night, as you're pointing out. I want to hit the sack. But tomorrow I'll take more questions, also latest updates. For the moment, Nikhil, I'm coming to you live from Dubai, signing off. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.